Caught us by surprise.
Yeah.
Hi.
I was
Hello,
just jigging
everybody.
to that. I love that music, Kelly.
So we
Wow.
are here. It is Saturday afternoon here in
is.
the Eastern time zone in Britain. What time is it?
6 o'clock.
It's fun time. It's
Tea time.
6 o'clock
It's tea time.
time.
So welcome everybody here. This is my good friend Ben.
Hello.
From Beneficial Tarot. This is my good friend Richie from Longman Tarot. And we are here to have some fun, do some readings.
Yeah.
I affectionately called us Chat and Cards with the UK team because, of course, you're both in the UK, in case anyone couldn't figure that out. And so what we've done is we have come up with a really fun little spread using some popular, or maybe some not so popular, British slang.
Yes.
But before we get to that, let's ask each other how we're doing. Why don't we?
Yeah.
Ben, how are you doing, love?
Well, I've had a very good week because I've had the week off work, so it's been amazing. But yes, and yeah, I feel really good. I'm decluttering. I'm doing a series of decluttering videos.
Yes.
And I'm feeling great about it. I'm seeing more space, and I'm feeling really good. So, and I've been listening to Miley Cyrus, so that's about it, really.
I love it.
I love it.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Ben, what's on your hat, love?
Oh, so this came free with a PlayStation that I bought a couple of years ago. So
it's like got it.
Yeah,
I
PlayStation.
thought it was a Skull and Crossbones.
That's just your dark soul talking.
My piraticalness coming out there.
I love it.
But yeah.
And Richie, how are you, love?
I'm doing actually really well today. I've had a very stressful week, busy week. Not necessarily particularly stressy, but just lots of things keep coming in. It's like, I haven't got time. It's been like that this week. And then today I got up at a reasonable time, went for a lovely walk. It was lovely and sunny. I haven't had a chance to be outside for days. And then I came back and just did lots of things that I kind of needed to do, like tidy and weed a few bits and plants and bits like that, which I didn't realize were weighing on my mind, and just doing it was just lovely. And then I went out for dinner with my family, which was fantastic. So I'm really chilled.
Make me feel like a slacker. Jeez.
Well, what about you, Kelly? What have you been doing?
Well, it would be it is not very professional to show up and have someone ask you how you are and be like, really down and blah. But the truth is, because I like to be honest, I'm having one of those moments. As I said, tomorrow is the 11th year passing anniversary of my mama, and so I'm starting to feel some of that, but in a good way. Like I feel the emotions of it, and I'm thinking of things. But other than that, I'm here, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with my friends and having some fun. Let's say, so I thank you for asking. And let's say hello to some folks. Gerald is here, and Gerald says he is ready. Dare we ask what you are ready for? Esther G is in the house. Hello, Esther.
Hi, Esther.
Hi, Esther.
Miss Eliza is in the house,
Hello.
Hey.
and she says yay for decluttering.
Mm.
Oh, yes, definitely. It helps.
I say all the time that, like with my anxiety, there's times when it'll feel like the walls are closing in. And if I go and like clean off a shelf or, like organize and sort of like declutter a little bit,
Yeah.
clean out my sock drawer, those things, like honestly, it sounds a bit crazy, but it really does help me. It makes me feel like my, I think because I'm redirecting my energy and because I'm putting things away and sort of out of my line of sight, it
Yeah.
makes me feel like I can breathe easier, if that makes sense.
Well, the only thing I can declutter really well is my biscuit tin. But other than that, it's really hard to get into the mode of decluttering. But when
Yeah.
you're in it, and it feels really good, and it does definitely change the energy. It moves
Yeah.
energy, I think, because
Excuse me.
I'd like to say all this here is actually me taking off the table, and I actually waxed the table behind me today, so that's why it's all there, because it's just
Nice.
drying at the moment. So,
Well,
it
I
looks
thought
shiny, but it's there for a purpose.
I thought really that was so if your house looks like that, then you'll want to declutter. I thought we were going to use you as a whatnot, like if it looks like that. No, I'm kidding. I think it
Oh,
looks
it does
fine. I
need a
wasn't even
declutter.
noticing.
Oh, I'm the first to put my hand up as well. Absolutely. In fact, I've got to the stage now when people go, "What would you like for a present for Christmas or birthday?" I go, "Just give me vouchers. Please do not buy me anything."
Right.
yeah, I'm the
I
same.
don't want objects that are going to have to sit around and do stuff. No.
I would like someone to come in and do some housekeeping. If anyone's looking to give Kelly a gift, that would be great. Miss Susan is in the house. Thank you, Susan, for being here.
Hi, Susan.
Our lovely friend Rain is in the house.
Oh, hi, Rain.
Oh, hello.
Miss Hypnicity.
Hello.
Hello to you.
Linda Keltzer is in the house. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, Linda.
Maruda is here.
Hi.
Rita.
Gypsy JJ is here.
Hi.
Hello.
Lots of people.
There is.
That's an interesting question, Hypnicity, but we got you. Tyrrell Stash says, yummy pie. I'm making snickerdoodle cookies later today.
Oh, I need to. Yeah, I'd love to bake.
Me too.
And I can't bake.
I feel like we're all a little baked right now, but that's okay.
Yeah,
Um,
that too.
Lisa's in the house.
Hi, Lisa.
Gerald wants to know what kind of biscuits are or were in your tin.
Custard creams, hobnobs, jammy Dodgers.
It's
Do you
like
know-
a whole other planet that they live on, isn't it, folks? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I love a jammy Dodger, and I like a fig roll too.
Oh, I love a fig roll.
I do like a fig roll.
And a chocolate finger.
I do like a chocolate finger.
They are called chocolate fingers. They're called fingers, but they're chocolate fingers.
No, I get it.
Sounds
I've
wrong,
got
but I'm
jammy
just-
Dodger here. There you go.
Oh, they're the best jammy Dodgers. What about party rings? Do you have any of them?
They're a little bit. I don't have party rings in
No.
here. I've got a custard cream though, Ben. Would you like it?
I love a custard cream. Can you pass it up? Hopefully it doesn't get lost in translation.
Do you have like chocolate chip cookies? No. But those aren't biscuits, those are cookies. There's a difference. I get it. Rain says, "Oh, those are so good. I used to put a Hershey's Kiss on top of the cookie right after it comes out of the oven. I add a bit of Tia Maria to the recipe too."
Oh,
Wow.
I like
Write that down, folks.
Mm.
All right. Who else is here? Who else is here? Oh, Lisa's got a question there. You never know. You know you're getting old when you receive a birthday card from your pharmacy.
You know you're getting old when you receive a card from the Queen in this country, or the King.
King now.
Yeah.
Because when you're you know you're old then.
Speaking of the king, how exciting, the coronation.
I
know.
know. It's coming
Next
up.
day off.
Yes.
We're going to have to talk about that. We're gonna
Do
have
you
to
get an
talk
extra
about that.
day?
I think no.
Well, no, because that's your king as well, isn't it, in Canada?
He is our
You
king as
Yeah.
well,
should
but no,
campaign for one.
Yeah. Yeah.
no. NJS55 is in the house. Hello, hello,
Hi,
hello.
NJ.
Sue is here. Your friend is here.
Hi, Sue.
Thank you for
Hi,
being here.
Sue.
Sue says she loves Jamie Dodgers. Say, I can't even say that.
Jammy
Jammy
Dodgers. I used to love Jammy Dodgers.
I love a Jamie Dodger.
Do you not get Jammy Dodgers in Canada?
Well, okay, so that's the biscuit with the jam in the middle.
Yeah,
Great.
that's right.
We used
Yeah.
to lovingly refer to those as go. You know,
Wow, they do go
like a
quick,
doorbell.
though.
You know, go. Press
Oh,
the
Yeah.
button.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Anywho, so so because this is chatting cards with the UK team, and I secretly so I just want to tell you guys that so I recently, like, I love to watch old BBC documentaries.
Oh.
And have you ever seen the ones that they did where people did the exercise of like doing different eras, you know, like living like in the 1900s or
yeah.
whatever?
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I love that. Because
Oh my
I
God.
loved it when they did the 80s one.
It's so fun. So then I found one where they did it on food. So they had this family, and like every week they changed the decade of the house. It was interesting, right? Anyway,
Was it Back in Time for Dinner or something like that?
yes.
Yes. Yeah. Knew it.
So, yes, the 1900 house. Actually, yes, that's what it's called. So, last night I was on YouTube and I found the old what's it called? Country House Rescue.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, I used to watch that show and then I totally forgot about it. And then there I was, marathon watching, right? Like toothpicks in the eyeballs going, oh my God, I love it. I wish we could get an update. And then when I said I wish we could get an update, I found an update on one of the houses that they did. And this guy has totally turned his country home that he inherited into some amazing wedding venue. It's Elmore Court or Elmore Court.
Yeah.
The guy was a DJ anyway, and he's
Right.
changed his whole life around, and like it's fascinating. And they have like a drone that like flies through it and takes you on a tour. It's amazing what he's done. Just amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
love
then, you know how when you look up stuff like that, all of a sudden like your whole front page is like recommendations. Well, now my recommendations are all, you know, British and you know, living in Victorian times and Victorian architecture and so on and so forth. So yes, Rain, they are the fruit cream cookies. Absolutely. So I found this, I've got it starred so I can watch it later. These people live, I don't know where they live, but they are living like they are back in the 1890s. Like they dress, they ride, the gentleman, the husband rides the big bicycle with the big front tire, and she rides the, yeah.
Oh, it sounds like a horror
They dress
film.
that way. Their house is done that way. Their furniture, they cook with the, you know, the wood stove and the whole bit. And I just was like, what is going on?
That sounds like a horror film to me.
Yeah.
Is it-
What, no Everton?
So, you know, I mean, because I think the point is, and I think that some of us could be also guilty of this. We romanticize that period of time, right?
Yeah.
The Victorian era, we romanticize it. And if you are to talk to anyone who had like relatives that were, you know, working as a servant or a lower class person, it is not the romantic sort of, you know, thing that we have in our head, right?
It's like sorry,
it's horrible. No, go on, Rich.
I was gonna say it's like all these things, you know, as you say, we romanticize it.
Yes.
If you had money living in any era, it was fantastic.
Right.
But
Yeah.
most people didn't, and it was pretty hellish.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When
Yeah.
I went to school, we had a Victorian day, and the teachers turned into Victorian teachers. We were all given slate boards,
Right.
and it was horrible. They were just vile. The teachers were. They would like look at you like a piece of. It was
Right.
just awful. It was like they were really, because they wanted you to experience a Victorian day, how kids
Yeah.
experienced it, and it was just that. Yeah. But then you look at Charles Dickens, don't you, and all the stories he's done, and that's like
Yeah.
Christmas Carol and all the good stuff that came out of that period. And I love watching Charles Dickens stuff on TV. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of that done in this country, actually, isn't there, Richie? Like TV shows, the BBC do a
Yeah.
lot of Charles Dickens stuff.
There's a new one coming out.
There
You
is.
know that?
Have you
With-
seen it?
No, but it's got Olivia Colman in it as Miss
Yeah.
Havisham.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Do you
Ring
like-
says she loves modern plumbing, so she wouldn't want to live back then. And what's interesting
No.
about modern plumbing is a lot of people. This isn't specific to Britain, but a lot of people, when plumbing was coming in, didn't think it was going to be They didn't think it was going to take off. They thought it was just a fad,
Yeah.
which I just think is super fun.
Well, what's interesting is that over here we still use a lot of the Victorian plumbing and sewage systems here. They
Yes,
haven't been
you do.
updated. And at the moment, we've got massive problems as the weather changes because the environment is that there's a lot of water companies having to dump sewage into rivers because they can't cope with the sewage system and the extra rainwater that it's getting, and it's turning into quite a bit of problem in the UK of
Yeah.
polluting wet rivers and stuff like that for emergencies. I'm going to use the term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. This is an interesting comment. Maruta put in here, I saw a contest where people who had certain professions had to try to run the same kind of shops from the Victorian era. I love it. And that would have been
Yes.
so interesting.
Yeah.
I seen one, again, like one of those BBC ones where they were doing a Victorian pharmacy.
Mhm.
And that was interesting because the role of the pharmacy has totally changed over in the course of the years, right?
There's actually not far from where I am, there's a little, they've got like a village or like a little tower, like a mining thing, and it's all done up in, actually it might not be Victorian, but it's all done up in old fashioned. You can go to shops and it's all old fashioned,
Right.
and there's actors around there and they're all and it's like you go back in time.
Wow.
Love it. We
Yeah.
have here in Ontario, we have Black Creek. Well, we have several, but the biggest one is Black Creek Pioneer Village, and we took our nieces there one year for Christmas, and that was lovely because it gives you an idea of how Christmas was back in the 1850s and 1860s, and they have, of course, the shops and all that kind of stuff. And you can bake cookies and do all those fun things, right? And it was just, it's. I personally think it's important to like see where you came from, to understand what our ancestors did in terms of the hard work and the ingenuity that they had. Like they had so little to work with, but yet they were able to still, provide home and education and provide their children with professions I like to understand where I came from, right?
Yeah.
Where the people around me came from, like where did it start from, right? So when you drive by or when you're standing in the grocery aisle and you're grabbing a box of cereal, like how did that become a thing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think things like that are really interesting because it certainly gives you, if nothing else, an appreciation for how far we have come in terms of progress and innovation, right?
Yeah.
And with that, I will
Anyway,
stop my speech.
No, I like that. Very interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Well, Maruta says, according to romance novels, they had to change clothes for every activity or time of day.
Yeah.
And that is true.
And they wore really hot things, didn't they? Like in the summer, they'd have full-on suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though
Well, I
it was
don't
really
think
hot.
that the weather was as hot as it is now.
Well,
Yeah. But then there was, they would be in places like India as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going down to Egypt and all these great explorations of people.
Yeah.
They do it in bodices and corsets and big hats and suits and three-piece
Right.
suits. It's just
And in London, Richie, wasn't it in the Victorian times that the Thames was iced over and they'd have shops on the river?
I think it was a little bit earlier than that. I think it was
Was it?
Elizabethan times. It was London Bridge, the original London Bridge. That
Okay, yeah, because it was
had
so iced.
arches, it would freeze over, and I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure when that happened. But they had a lot of smog in London in the Victorian period. You see these Jack the Ripper films, and there's always mist blowing around.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like
Hammer.
that, coal fires everywhere. So
Yeah. It's
Well,
interesting.
We went down that path because, as I said, we're going to do some readings, and our readings consist of UK slang. And so I'm going to type it in the chat. Richie and Ben are going to handle talking for a moment while I mute myself and type in what we're doing.
oh gosh.
Oh,
we
she's
could-
put us on the spot, Richie.
I
How
know,
dare she?
sitting aside and smiling and waving at people like that.
Let's do a dance. um, so how
Ben,
are
would
you?
you like to live in the Victorian period?
No, I'd hate it. I don't think I'd cope at all. Victorian.
What period would you like to live in if you could?
The 80s. Definitely the 80s.
With the music and everything. and
Yeah, I
the
love the
fashion.
80s. How about you? Would you like to live in there?
I'd like to go like Roman.
Would you?
I'd love to go to the Roman
Really?
period. Yeah, I'd
Would
love
you
to.
be a Roman though, or would you be a Viking?
I'd be. Oh, I think I'd be. I'd probably very much like the same. Like a Viking that came over here and went. Oh, I quite like the hot air
Yeah.
system and the nicer food. You don't have to go out
Yeah.
hunting for it. So yeah, I think. But I think something like the Mitch and Elizabethan would be great. Again, if you had
Yeah.
money and you
It's if you had money, isn't it?
you
Isn't it?
weren't likely to die of smallpox within 10 days or the
Yeah,
plague.
no, yeah.
like that. But yeah.
No, definitely. But no, I love
Well, I had to come back. We were talking about dying with smallpox. I was like, wow, the show's taking a turn. My God.
Took a turn.
So here's what we have, and Ben and Richie will be kind enough to explain our terms. So we have use your loaf. We have keep your hair on. And we have Kushti, which I literally just learned a moment ago. So go ahead, friends, and explain what those terms are.
Well, Rich is good at explaining things.
Okay. So the first one's keep your hair on, which is kind of calm down, don't make a fuss about stuff, basically calm down, take a breath, and don't get worked up by the situation. Keep your hair on. I don't know where it comes from.
Probably all the men in the 70s that had Como, that had those toupees. Keep your hair on.
And use your loaf is?
Use your loaf is think about stuff. Loaf. Have you heard of Cockney rhyming slang?
No.
So in London, back in the Victorian, they had their own little language, and it's called Cockney rhyming slang. And basically, where a lot of the kind of slang words we get they would actually make it up. So Cockney. So for example, I'm just trying to think of a good example. Well, use your loaf. They would say loaf for bread, and it rhymes for head. So it's like saying use your head, but they would just say use your loaf.
Okay.
And there was all sorts of things like that, like bit mutton for being deaf. Mutton Jeff is deaf, and apples and pears meant the staircase. It's a crazy thing, but most people in the UK would probably know a few and would know what to say. Would you know any, Ben?
Richie's like, help, no.
I do. No, I do, but I just can't think of them.
What he's saying is he can't think of anything appropriate to say right now because Gerald's comment is
a cup of rosy. You'd say that in London. Oh, cup of rosy, which is Rosie Lee tea.
All right, geezer. Is that one?
Probably. I don't know where it all comes from. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Hi, Spaceship Rising.
Hi there.
Okay, so we have Hypnocity, we have Lise, we have Maruda, we have NJ55, and Gerald. If I've missed anyone, please do pop it in to the chat, and we will go ahead and get started. We're going to pop up. We're not going to go in any particular order. Let's go with Gerald first.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Not because we're trying to get rid of Gerald by answering his question first, but now, who wants to do, let's see, who wants to do we want to do one of us do one and the other one do another one, or do we want to pull 3 cards, one for each of those?
Should we do one for each, one card per person?
1 card per person. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll get confused if not.
Okay, so I'm going to do the last one. We're going to put Ben on Use Your Loaf, which is, what is your inspiration or your intuition? Richie is going to do Keep Your Hair On, which somehow seems inappropriate now that I've said it, which is how to navigate, an obstacle or a challenge. And I will do the Kushti, which is your guidance.
Yeah.
For Gerald. Our dear friend Gerald. Of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. As my friend Gerald says, consult a professional, please. Don't trust us.
Right, hang on. Sorry, I'm just getting my.
We've actually not done. We've done this type of reading before. Thank you, Gerald. Appreciate the vote of confidence. Gerald is reassuring everyone in the chat that we do know what we're doing.
Right, here we go. Gerald. So, using your loaf, Gerald.
Sorry.
Oh. No, Gerald, this is just you all over. If there is a judge, you are it. Enough said. I mean,
You leaving it at that?
I'm leaving it at that. I don't think there's anything else to say.
I got Keep Your Hair On, so calming down, calming influences. Ace of Wands for you there, Gerald. Put it back there. Ace of Wands. So channeling your powers, channeling everything that happens in your way. Take time to channel your energies properly. That's what I would say about this card. Make sure that everything, and I'm sure you do, make sure that everything that you do has a purpose, has an intention behind it. Follow things through. Don't do anything. Do something when it feels right as well. That's the other thing. And don't be arm twisted or told to do stuff. Don't do stuff that you not feeling right about, basically.
I love that. Jill, this is what I got for you. I've got the Angel of Faith. Now, I mean, that's sticking to your sort of principles, sticking to the idea of standing in your power and always speaking your truth, which I think is something that you do really well in terms of being true to yourself, right? The part about the faith is, I mean, for all of us, not just for Gerald, right? This is just reminding yourself that you are where you're supposed to be when you're there. Do you know what I mean? And sort of remaining solid on that foundation. So that's what we got for you. Hi, Ellen.
I've just seen Gerald says thank you. In other words, careful where I point my wand. Precisely. Don't go pointing your wand where you shouldn't be pointing it.
That's right.
You want
to. All right. Maruda is up next. I don't even know what to say anymore. I'm switching you two. Um,
Well, I'm keeping my hair on. which
I'm
is
using
very
my loaf.
usual.
yeah, so Richie is using his loaf, and keep your hair on is for Ben.
Where's my wig?
Beth would like to know what decks we're using.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Hair on. I am using a crazy one, which is called Morgan's Tarot.
Oh, I have that one.
Nice. I'm using Tarot Oneness, which I just love. I've been using it every reading so far. Plus, I've got Linescape as well, plus a few Oracle cards. You know what I'm like.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Oracle decks out and 3 tarot decks. So I'll say them as I'm using them. How's that? Because otherwise, we'll have to come back next week and do the show for me telling you all the cards that I'm using. But I appreciate the reminder, Beth, because I forget all the time to say what I'm using.
Right.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Should I go first?
Yeah, you go.
What am I doing? Using loaf. I've got you the 5 of Wands. I've got a wolf here. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Beautiful card, isn't it? It's using it. This is about knowing when to be protective. This is about knowing the rules of the game. I'm going to say that way to you, because a game is always a game until it gets out of control, and then it can become a nightmare. And so here, I just think using your head, thinking about what's going to happen, is be wise, like the wolf. Pick up on systems, pick up on signals, channel that intuition, channel that animal instinct, perhaps, to know when is the right time to play the game, when is time to duck out, when is time to tell people no. But at the same time, doing it in a protective way. And that's the thing about this wolf. It looks scary, but it's very, very protecting. It's just protecting its home, its cubs there. And so it's not being aggressive for the sake of being aggressive. It's being aggressive to be protective.
Love it. Hi, Anna.
Love it.
What you got, Ben?
Hi, Anna. So I've got when keeping your hair on, and I got for that.
You said that so matter-of-factly, like it's a thing that everyone worries about.
It's an everyday occurrence for me.
It is. Well,
it is.
For some.
For my wig, yeah. It is change, and always some of us, don't like change, and it can be quite scary. So it's like keep your hair on when change does come, because it can lead to good things. And I did pull a tarot. Change can lead to abundance in some circumstances. So while it might feel uncomfortable now, if something's changing, it can feel better later on, because you don't always see the benefits until later. So yeah, embrace change.
This is such an interesting I love when we do these readings, and I thank Gerald for showing me these style of readings. And the reason why they're interesting is, no matter what funny name we give the categories, they still work.
Yeah.
Right?
They do.
I've got the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, so the 8 of Pentacles is about mastering your craft. It's about working hard. It's about paying attention to details and being very focused, right? So Maruta put in the chat earlier, Richie, when you pulled the wolf card, and she said about strategy. Mm-hmm. And if you think of what Richie said, the wolf being protective and sort of like the pack leader, and someone who is like sly like a fox doesn't have to have a negative connotation to it. It can mean that you are almost like an overachiever in terms of like you're prepared. So strategy, like I'm totally agreeing with you, right? Yes, and I'm using the Light Seer Tarot. Thank you. Gerald's helping me with the heart. Gerald, honestly, I'm like,
What do you feel about the Light Seer's Tarot, Ben?
Oh, yes. So I'm putting it on a certain pile lately. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, there's another
We're
day.
not fans, basically, Kelly.
We had this conversation last night,
Yeah,
didn't we?
we
I kind of everyone
Well,
started coming out of the closet about what they thought about the Light
Yeah.
Seers Tarot.
here's
but
what I think. I think that you guys can use the decks that you want, and I can use the decks that I want, and we can still be friends about it. So that's what I think about your
Yeah.
pile.
Love it.
That's told us, Richie. So, okay.
That's what I think about your. So you know what you can do with your pile? No,
You can stick it where the sunshine shines, is what she's saying.
I mean I didn't say it, but I might have been thinking it. All right, NJ55, NJS55. Sorry. All right, I'm gonna switch us. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna do that. All right. So I am using your loaf.
Yeah, you will.
I'm not using your loaf. I'm got my category. This, I mean, honestly, it's a very slippery slope. I can barely concentrate on what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm so worried about how I'm saying that. For entertainment purposes only. I feel like I'm gonna or bury it in the backyard. Maruda says that's funny.
Right.
Oh, the Tarot of Oneness won Richie over
Yeah, I love it. It is my favorite now.
right
And
now.
it reads really well as well. Which is
Right
always
now.
a good thing, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't want a deck that didn't read very well, would you?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is that what we think of the Light Seers? Apparently, that I do.
No, I think there's a good. I think the Light Seers is a really good deck for people coming into tarot and working with it, and it's for people new, people that've been doing it for ages. It's just there's some of the images in it that don't quite ring for me. So that's
Right.
all.
I feel for me, it's overexposure.
Yeah.
It's everywhere I go, I see that deck, and
Yeah.
I think that's what it is for me.
Do you know why? Because they marketed it and
So,
made it user friendly.
Yeah.
In terms of if you're a new person or like Richie said, like you're new to tarot or you're just sort of like dabbling in it for, like getting to know the cards or the meanings or whatever, it's a user-friendly deck because the images are different than the traditional tarot deck.
Yeah.
Right? Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm on Use Your Loaf. And I pulled from the Quantum Oracle for NJS 55. That is the look at our cards, Richie. They look so cute together. Look at that. We have 3 circles.
Wow.
I love that. So the card that I've got here is literally card number 1, and we've got New Beginnings. Right? So in terms of inspiration and using your intuition, when it comes to new beginnings, you have to sort of, what am I trying to say? You have to sort of allow yourself to have the mindset of approaching a new beginning as an opportunity, right? As Ben was saying before about change, nobody likes change. It's hard for us to navigate change, but when it comes to new beginnings, just saying it like that changes it, right? Sometimes even saying like an opportunity or possibility doesn't sound solid enough. Ben, are you copying Richard?
I was trying to distract him. I'm sorry. I
So-
do this
so-
to him.
So
Look down.
new
Look
beginnings to me is the moment when you actually feel, or when you actually don't know that something is ahead of you, right? You haven't quite sort of wrapped your head around the concept that something is about to shift or change for the better, for the positive, which I think is a lovely way to sort of start the reading in terms of being inspired, right? This is about half full, not half empty. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Great. Keeping your hair on. I've got a lovely card for this one. I've got the 4 of Swords. And look how beautiful this card is. It's about meditation. It's about, I love the calmness. I'm not a person that likes the brown beige colors that often, but it really works here for this one. There's a real sense of peace, and not a sense like you often get with the 4 of Swords of sleeping and having to grab some sleep because you're so exhausted.
Right.
This is about finding time to heal your body and your soul, and keeping your hair on. It's doing exactly what it does on the tin, because if you actually take that meditative pose, if you try and find something that's going to calm your innerness, you're not going to lose your hair. You're going to be absolutely fine. So there's perhaps a calling there, just to take some time to find that inner peace.
Now you've got that lovely lavender.
That works. Sorry, Dolly?
You've got that lovely lavender, and then you've got these peaceful, wonderful sort of colors coming off of Richie's cards. Love that.
Yeah.
All right, Ben, blow us out of the water. Let's go.
Right, that's so interesting because stop. Wait a minute. So this is really interesting because we've got the stop, wait a minute. And then we've got this, which is the Four of Cups, which follows on quite nicely in terms of guidance for this. It's like you're not quite seeing, you're not seeing this opportunity here. And like Richie's card showing about, going into that meditation state, which again, we've got 2 fours there, which I think is very interesting, is that sometimes by calming our mind and, we can see the different opportunities that are presented to us instead of just focusing on the mundane, which is why it's saying stop. There's other things around you here, and sometimes that we don't see because we're so focused on other things in our life at the moment. So I think it's important to, like Richie says, take that quiet time to focus your mind on other things.
I don't like to hijack a reading, but I feel like I want to add, if I can, if that's it's about focusing on the journey and each step of the journey rather than a specific outcome, right? Because sometimes we get caught up, like I want to lose 20 pounds in 2 months, and we've got the new bathing suit sort of hanging off the wall and we can see ourselves there. But after 2 weeks and you jump on the scale and you've gained 2 pounds, you kind of want to freak out. It's about enjoying the journey, because there are beautiful points of the journey where you're learning so much. Sometimes you got to step back from your outcome or your intended outcome, right? Oh, thanks, NJS55. I love that. She said, or he said, I'm not sure if it's a he or she, needed this. Thanks.
That's fine. Ben, what deck was that one from, the Four of Cups one?
Oh, it's from the Universal Tarot.
Oh,
love it. Richie, you've gone first, right? I've not gone second.
I've not gone last.
I'm gonna switch you guys. I'm working on it.
When you receive a birthday card,
I feel like I'm sitting really high. I feel like I look at I don't know what is going on with my hair. It's like, anyway. If we just put our eyes just above the thing, it looks like we're reading it. Sorry. That's going to be like the 7th inning stretch. All right. Lisa says, you're getting old when you receive a birthday card from your pharmacy. Is
that a question?
No.
That
was me putting that in there. We have Hypnocity here. Will Taylor Sheridan see my message about my Yellowstone connections? I mean, it could be a question. I don't know. Maybe it is a question. Don't lose your hair, Kelly. Listen, friend, if I lost my hair, I'd look funny.
Are you okay, Richie?
I don't know why that made me laugh so much.
I want to know what's in that water bottle. That's what I want to know. Things went offside after you took it. Thank you, Beth.
Sorry. All right.
Everybody breathe.
Okay, right.
Ben, we need to help our friend out. You ready? Come on.
Richie,
this is for you, honey.
Put your finger up.
Look at it.
We got it.
There we go. Okay.
You didn't tell me I had to do that backstage.
You're part of it now.
You're part of the group now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We could be like the newest singing group. We could be
The finger group.
the Three Fingers.
Well, yes. I mean, it's better than two, I guess. But
Gerald just pulled my finger.
I got some water.
Hypnocity says, I'll have what you're having. Oh my God. All right. What's happening? Who's on first? What are we doing?
Right, loaf.
Right.
Loaf.
I'm, what am I? Keep your
hair.
on.
Keep your hair on. You're
What
all
am
right.
I'm Kushti.
Sure you are. I know you are, but what am I? No. Sorry.
So loaf. Use your loaf. So you using loaves.
Oh my God.
I mean, this is just getting worse,
For
guys.
entertainment purposes only, friends, truly.
Oh, I've gone. Sorry, there we go. Mushroom. Why does it always go silly? Right, hang on. Inspiration.
Hanging on.
Well, that's
by a
that's
thread. We are hanging on by a thread.
The inspiration is that, and I'll leave you with that image. That's inspiration for you. And then in terms of the tarot cards, so I would say with the mushroom, inspiration is getting bigger, sorry. Using your loaf. So sometimes we we go through really difficult times, which is we've got the 10. I always see the 10 as an ending. And sometimes it can be a very difficult ending. But as with this card, I always see the dawn. So what I always see as this card is that while something has ended, it just means that it's the finality of that, and that something new will come around the corner. I actually don't mind seeing this card because I always think it could be the end of a difficult situation that someone's been in. So I take inspiration that with an ending comes a new beginning, and that's when things can shroom out. All right. There you go.
I'm trying really hard not to laugh. I'm using the Guardian of the Night Tarot, and what I've got for keep your hair on is the 7 of Wands. So the 7 of Wands is if you're feeling slightly challenged, right? But you're still resilient. You're still determined. I kind of look at it as very much like the swan or the duck on the, like underneath the water. Your feet are going a million miles a minute, and on the top of the water, you may not even recognize that you're off. You know what I mean? Something just doesn't feel quite right. Other people probably definitely won't notice, but there's something going on. So in other words, if you feel it, like if you know it inside, if your intuition is sort of like your spidey senses are going off, don't resist it. Try to figure out what is causing the challenge. It could be something that you're viewing in a different way than the situation really is, or it could be something that's like legitimately happening. But yeah, challenge. That's what I got.
I'm going to kind of jump on the back of that one. What am I doing, Kushti? I've got the Lovers card for you. And what I like about the Lovers card in this one, it's just one person across a field or something, but it's about sending out that energy from the heart chakra. And it's about putting out, a bit like cosmic ordering, putting out what you want. You will get back because, the heart's sending out the message, but it's also picking it back up again. So it's about positive vibes. It's about, making good choices, but it's about really being definite with what you want and going for it. Because the Lovers is about normally two people coming together on that one there. And here it feels like the energies are, from this person is being joined to the actual person looking at the card. So it's almost like magnetism that's going on there.
Interesting.
I like that.
It's a great card.
Hypnocity says that's what I'm doing, putting the message out to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
that I mean, when it comes to our energy and these crazy energies that we're all experiencing right now, the best thing that I personally think that we can all do for ourselves is put out into the universe what we hope to receive back, right?
Yeah, totally.
All right. So that's Hypnocity. All right, let's do Miss Ellen. All right. Now, Ben, you've done this one, right? We're gonna put us back to the way that we were in the beginning.
What will the month of April be like?
Oh, I thought you were doing that again. For some reason.
I'm
I was like, okay.
I'm dancing.
Dancing.
Okay. Cindy says, great reading. Thank you. We appreciate that. Blessings for being here and for asking the questions and putting up with all of our antics. Ellen, you are more than welcome to ask what deck we're using. I can't say that we're going to remember to tell you, but you can ask. Hi, Lisa. All right, Miss Ellen.
Okay. So I start. You ready, Ben? You okay?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So use your loaf. I've got a lovely
again.
card.
We got 3 circles.
Oh yeah.
Totally cool. Go ahead.
And keep your cards where they are for a moment, because we have now got, because the back of yours, we've got the star, and look, you've got all stars on the back of your cards.
Oh
too.
yeah,
beautiful,
lovely. So lovely card. Look, I wish this card the camera would focus. So you can see we've got a waterfall here, and it's gorgeous colors in there. So it feels like April is going to be a lovely time for you to put what you want into action and success coming to you, because I don't think you can have a negative version of the star card apart from the energies might be a bit slow. So this is a go for it card. Follow your dreams, wish upon a star, all that business, because the star card is about following your fortunes to the future. And it's just a positive green light on that one. So that's lovely. And I wish you the best on that one, Ellen.
Oh,
now that's a beautiful card.
Yeah,
Richie, there it is. What deck is that?
It's the Tarot of Oneness again.
It is lovely, that
so
deck.
Let's go and get the box. I can show it to you. I'll just turn the camera off.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not wearing pants. He doesn't want us to see.
That's code for not wearing pants or trousers in this country.
Right.
Because not wearing pants in this country is nothing. It's naked.
Family show, Ben. Come on now.
I know. Gosh, I keep forgetting that it's not late there. So Ellen, what will the month of April be like?
I heard you. I was listening.
She said, "Oh, that's code for not having any pants on, Richie." I said, "Well,
I've got both on. Thank you very much."
That's a shame. So, keeping your hair on. So, in terms of challenges this month, the card I've got is Think About It for a While. And it was interesting because I pulled this with this tarot card, which is the Knight of Pentacles, which is all about slowing down and stopping. So another card that actually fell out was the Justice card. So I feel like there could be something... I'm saying legal matters. I don't think it is legal matters, but it's something that you need to think about before you go ahead with something to get some balances right there. Don't rush into a decision about this thing, whatever it may be. But it's asking you to just think about something for a while, not rushing into it, whatever that is. But certainly those two cards, I think, link really well together there. So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Now, in terms of what we said in the beginning, okay, never mind. I'll just show you my card, and then I'll say what I was going to say. So now I've got the Chariot. So the complete opposite of what Ben was saying. But in terms of what we said, keeping your hair on is like your how to navigate the challenge. So the navigation of the challenge is to not rush into something, right? To try to maintain your balance and stand on a solid foundation. Now I've got your guidance. Your guidance, the Chariot. The message on the bottom of this card says, charge ahead with confidence, stay strong, and stay focused. So the traditional Chariot is about, trying to, it can be about blending energies. It can be about success. It can be about, things happening really quickly. In this case, it's the navigation of getting you from point A to point B. But even though this will be moving quickly, don't sort of take your eye off the prize, right? Don't sort of lose sight of, the fishing. When you're fishing and you use one of those, what are those things called? The bobbin or the bobble that you use in fishing, where the fish grabs the hook and the bob goes underneath the water. So in other words, literally, like, keep your eye on that bobble, right? Don't take your eye off the prize. Stay focused, because things could happen quickly, and you don't want to lose focus on a detail, if that makes sense. Bobber, thank you, Rose. Appreciate you. I don't know what's going on in the chat. I'm not even asking. I don't even know. That is such a pretty box. And this deck is called the Fortune Oracle that I was using. Oops, sorry.
Oh.
You heard it here first. All right, so did we do Maruta?
We did.
No. Did we? Oh, we did.
Maruta, let us know if we did that. And Lise, did you ever figure out your question? Because you said that you were having difficulty putting it into the chat. Do you want us to just throw it up there and just do a general for you? As an itty bitty tarot, I love it.
It's true. Mini me. Either that or I've got big hands. But no, it's a mini.
Wow.
Tarot.
I mean, just don't. Hi Kiba, how's it going? We had one more to do here, but for Lise, but she said that she was having difficulty putting in her comment or her question in the chat. So how about we just do a general for Lise? Can we do that?
We can do that.
Yeah.
So there, she says, I'm having trouble typing my actual question into the chat.
Okay.
General. Are we staying
All right.
where we are?
No.
No. Sound like Margaret Thatcher. No.
Okay. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anyone or skipped over anyone. If I have, I apologize. Sorry. It's all the antics of these two that made me lose my train of thought. I'm blaming it on Richie and Ben. That's all I can do. I'm going to break out a new deck, because I can. And I'm going to go with this one. Uh-oh. My puppy's crying.
Oh.
I can hear her. She misses me. That's not true at all. Daddy's home. It's like, Mommy who? You only feed me. Daddy is her person. It's the funniest thing ever, you guys. So the dog barks. So when Mark comes home from work, she's like totally excited. She stands at the door and she's like jumping up and down. And she's all excited. And after he gets in and takes his shoes off, then she barks at him for like 3 minutes straight, as if to say, how could you leave me? I don't know if I can forgive you.
Oh.
She's sleeping through the night, which is lovely.
That's good.
We're still working on the crate thing in terms of she really gets very upset if you leave her alone. Like the minute you get up, the minute you move, she wants to know like that she wants to be able to see you. It's getting a little bit easier, but we're not making leaps and bounds progress in that department. But everything else, she's doing really well. She's doing good with the, like her sit and sit pretty, and she does this down thing, which I think is hysterical. So she's doing well with that. She's doing well with her eating and her potty training. Okay. I had 2 cards fly out there.
What? I don't think I've heard that expression.
But
Wet Willy.
Wet Willy.
Yeah.
It's when someone kisses your ear or licks your ear.
Do we have
Actually,
that?
here
in school, Ben.
No.
Here you stick your finger in your mouth and you literally then stick it in someone's ear, which is disgusting. I mean, totally nasty. But
yes. Have you heard it, Richie?
Yeah. You used to go around doing it. The good thing I'm not in the middle next to you, because I'd lick my finger and try and stick it in your ear, Ben. I could work out which could be over there, wouldn't it?
So, Lise, my message. So this is about keeping your loaf, using your loaf. So I have, interestingly.
Gerald wants to know who Willie is.
Wet Willy does not sound right, Kristen. I totally agree.
It's nasty.
Not in this day and age. So I've got speed, which for me is all about forward movement. But also we have the devil here. And for me, in terms of inspiration, though, I would say this is saying for you to do things for you, and whether that means at the detriment probably of other people sometimes, which sometimes we do feel like that, don't we? When we do things for ourselves, we feel bad for it. But I feel that you don't do enough for yourself. And I feel like the inspiration here is like, make sure you've got time for you as well to do what you want to do. And that's where I think the speed comes from, really propel forward and do things for you as well as for others. But I think it's a difficult card when you get a negative card in a situation like inspiration, isn't it? But that's how I would see that with the devil. Doing some more for yourself in a sense.
Interesting. What you got, Richie?
I have got what would be judgment, but here they've called it awakening, and I like that term as opposed to judgment, because judgment has got that final judgment feel to it, whereas here it's more about awakening your inner calling. It's about those ideas that you've had, now put them into, you've already put them into fruition. It's now time to grow. It's now time to develop, like a flower opening here. It doesn't have to be necessarily anything spiritual, but it's just about realizing that your journey has already started, and just like you said earlier, enjoy the journey, because you are awakening to all the wonderful things that you've already put in place.
I apologize that I skipped, but I literally was because of course I had to be like, oh, I'm going to use a new deck or a different deck. I broke out the Herb Crafters Trail.
Ooh.
And of course I pulled one of the Spanish cards, so I had to look up the meaning so I could actually figure out what the heck the cards are. I mean, see what happens when you try. Okay, so I started out with the 4 of Air, or the 4 of Swords. This is a lovely picture, right?
That's gorgeous.
Oh, it is nice, isn't it?
So that 4 of Swords, I look at that as self-care, right? I look at that as like a Friday night, looking after yourself, put your feet up, watch a funny movie, just sort of chill out. It can be sometimes more intense than that. It can be like you like, I need to step back. I just need to step back and sort of, self-soothe a little bit. Only you know what's appropriate for your situation. The next card that I got is I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, the Haya of Fire. It's an interesting image on there. I love this deck. The images are so pretty. So I looked it up, and that is in this deck, it's the daughter. So that would be the page. Yes. And they give you these lovely sort of like crafting kind of ideas. Mm-hmm. This is what it says. To spend time gathering California poppy, not that you need to specifically gather that, but to spend time gathering California poppy in a wild meadow and then craft a relaxing elixir. So when I read that and I think about what that means to me, right? This is about sort of stepping back and stepping away, but still having like that overall kind of vibe in your head that I'm just taking a step outside of the zone. I'm going to get back to it. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say, right? This is about in terms of the Four of Air and the like Page of Wands. This is about sort of massaging yourself by inspiring yourself in a sort of like maybe like a courageous way, in a creative way, to inspire action forward. That's kind of where I was going with that. So you might have to step outside the box in terms of your normal thinking pattern. I often say, in a way to make my point, that you can release emotions by journaling. And a lot of people don't even think of journaling as a creative pursuit, but it is a great way to get to the end result without feeling like you're just standing there going, I need to release this, right? So that's kind of where I was going. I hope that that's helpful. Yay! I love this deck, but it is not helpful when you need to refer to the book in case you get a card that you don't understand what the heck the card means. I did have it written down somewhere.
I know that feeling when it's in English. So
Me too, friend. Me too. Me too. All right, let's put us back to normal. Thank you, everybody, for all of your questions. I hope that I didn't miss anybody. And if I did, I'm so sorry. Whoops. I don't know why I just did that. Bye, Kristen. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. Hi, Ocean Burnett. So,
Hi,
my God, we're at an hour.
already.
Wow.
Look at us.
Great.
It's like we knew what we were doing. Rose, what was your question, hon? Pop your question in there again. Was it just a regular question? And we'll do it real quick, and then we will say goodbye. While Rose is typing her question in the chat, Ben, what's coming up for you, hon?
For me,
You want to tell the peeps?
yes. So I'm doing a series at the moment around. Sorry, I'm just trying to look for my diary. Around decluttering, because I'm decluttering a huge collection of decks that I've amassed, and I've realised that I don't use them all. So I'm doing a decluttering process, and I'm about to release part 2 of that video, and it's more to help me than anybody else because I'm enjoying doing it as a video. So if people like to watch it as well, that's great. But it's more for me, I guess. But yeah, if you want to watch that, that's great. And then I've got some lives coming up. I have a live in April mainly, so one with Gerald, and I don't know if I'm allowed to tell anybody what it's about actually, but that's very exciting. It's not tarot related, but it's magic tool talk, and I'm very excited about it. So, because it's something I've wanted to do for a very long time, talk about, and we finally got round to it. So I'm looking forward to that, and that'll be on Gerald's channel. I think it's on the 19th of April, I think. So I'm sure Gerald will mention that when it gets closer to the time anyway. And I think us three are potentially doing something, aren't we, with Gerald, which sounds exciting. So that's in April too. So
What's coming up for you, Richie?
I'm going to hire a big van and drive to Ben's and buy all the decks that he's decluttering. That's what I'm going to do.
I'll just shove them in the van for you, Rich.
Shove them in the back.
Yeah.
Don't forget your friends in Canada.
Yeah.
I've got quite a week coming up. I'm not going to do a live this week. I've just got bits and pieces on. And then I'm on Easter holidays from work. So I'm going to be jumping on and I'm going to be going outside and doing some videos and stuff. Got Beltane coming up quite soon with Longstash. Bits and pieces coming up with Gerald and other people, wonderful people. So the usual stuff, but just this week a bit quieter coming up.
Well, hold on to your hat, friends, because I actually have nothing on the schedule for a couple of days.
Oh,
That's
wow.
good.
Well, yes.
Take time for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I took a week off last week, and it was lovely, and it did exactly what it needed to do. And I did want to mention that I did post up my journal entries, which is like a 3-part little series that I did in terms of my reflection of what happened and what occurred last week. So I would love it if you could all check those out. Because I learned some things while I was off. Tomorrow, as I said, is the 11th year passing anniversary of my mom. And last year I did a really big show with my sister on, our journey with grief and then celebrating our mom. I'm not sure if I'm going to come on tomorrow or not, so I haven't advertised it.
See how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of feel like I want to do something personal,
Yeah.
but I'm still not sure, right? So you may see me, you may not. Don't be surprised if you don't, though. And then Wednesday is Achieving Wellness, and that is posted up. And that's it. That's all I got for a little bit. And there's no reason. I don't want anyone to think that there's anything wrong with me. I'm fine. Just trying to navigate and sort of get my groove back. And because I had so many guests in the month of February and March, moving into April, I didn't. So it's going to be more like Kelly just like pops up and goes, "Oh, hi, I'm here."
Yeah.
Rose's question was about the grid in Texas in terms of the electricity. So can we pull a card for Rose, because I missed her question? Do you guys mind?
So to do with the grid in electricity grid, yeah?
Yeah, in Texas, yeah. Thank you, Linda.
Right. What positions are we in?
We're gonna put. Whoops! It helps if I do that. We'll put Richie first, you second, and me third.
What was I used to loaf?
So you are the loaf, Richie. And Ben is keeping his hair on. Or doing his best.
Right.
And I'm Christine.
Okay. Keeping the hair on the challenge.
I'm intrigued to know what's going on with this electricity now.
She says 4 times last year tossed my food out. So from what I know about the grid, their power keeps going off or being threatened to go off because of the weather that they are experiencing there. And there was a big to-do last year, an ice storm where a lot of people suffered a lot of damage. And that sort of came out because the mayor, or not, is it not the mayor, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, has not invested properly in the grid as he said that he would. Like it's very, very old and very out of date. So people are
That's
finding
really
a lot of
interesting,
difficulty.
Oh,
That's really interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, use your loaf. I've got two cards that now make a bit more sense when I hear about it, because I've got the Wheel of Fortune, and it feels here that there is almost like a on-off switch going on here with this one. It's almost like some days you're lucky, some days it's not, some days it's playing around, and it's that real sense of a wheel turning here, and it is almost, I'm going to use the word, in the lap of the gods that's going on with it as to what's happening with it. And then when you started talking about what was happening with the governor, this card jumped out as I was shuffling, and I've got the Seven of Swords. And if you have a look, we've got a leopard who's looking rather like it doesn't want to be seen. It looks like it doesn't want to be noticed. It's got its teeth bared. It's putting up a fight, and it's not going to attack, but at the same time, it doesn't want, you don't want to go poking that leopard. And it's a real sense here that somebody's just really standing for where they are. And it's got quite a lot of clout, quite a lot of power, which means that they will be staying there. And the Seven of Swords is also, you know, a card about deception, things being taken, things being moved around that shouldn't be around there. So I did get a sense from this card of shiftiness that's going on there, and perhaps that Wheel of Fortune will start kicking in and perhaps turning the situation upside down and changing it, I hope.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like, you know, sometimes the cards just come at you as if to tell you exactly what's going on. So as above, so below. So it's like the problem in the air is causing the problem below. And I also got down home funk. So there's a situation that's causing a little bit of, it's not funky, it's quite bad. I feel like
I love that card, Down Home Funk. That's cute.
Yeah. There's a sense of a loss of control. I feel there, which is the challenge here, is that not feeling in control. And I also pulled the Queen of Pentacles with that, so that is about, you know, trying to maintain that sense of control around you, regardless of what's going on. But the challenge is navigating this situation. It's not easy by the sounds of it, and it's not something that's within your control, I think, which is hard, isn't it?
It's interesting because I got the Six of Wands. Yeah, so normally this is success. It's recognition, it's being seen, it's victory. Victory doesn't necessarily have to be victory to the right team or for the masses. It could be his victory, or it could be your victory. So then I was like, okay, well, that's not really helpful, Kelly. So on the bottom of the deck, I've got the Eight of Wands. So, you know, protecting yourself, putting yourself, you know, sort of having some boundaries set around you. But it's also like self-doubt, right? And confusion. And so then what comes next? We've got the Hanged Man. So, and I mean, I'm not a political reader, but in terms of this, I think that this is a lot of eyes are focused on this. As Beth said, I don't know if you read that in the chat. Beth said, Richie, Texas has an old power grid that can't handle the weather. The system is antiquated, but it has become like a partisan issue. Now it's a political problem, right?
Yeah.
And it's like if they weren't digging their heels in the ground before, they are now, because all eyes are on them, because it's a political situation. As we move into 2024, all eyes are going to be on them even more so than they were before. But interestingly, after this the Hanged Man, I have the Nine of Cups. So I feel like if there is resistance from the powers that be to make the necessary changes that eventually, right? I don't think like right away, but eventually it is going to be to the point where the power of the people will sort of supersede the powers that be in charge, because you can't have people like losing food and having homes ruined as you all experienced last year. So I think that some changes will be in place, or will start, but it's gonna take a hot minute before it gets that way. But I sort of, the best part I can get out of that is I feel that they can't really like wish it away anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not hooked to the national grid, which is the problem, right? They are separate from the national sort of electrical grid that services the whole country. They're not hooked up, so they don't have any backup. As
that's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So interesting. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us on this fun Saturday. Thank you, Ben and Richie. I so appreciate you both joining me.
I've really enjoyed this, guys.
Yeah,
thank you both. It's been fun.
It has. And yes, prayers to everyone affected in Mississippi that is experiencing the tornadoes. There's like crazy weather. I heard there was something that happened in California yesterday. It's a lot. So, you know, remember that we're stronger together. Let's send some joy and love out to the universe, and you know, to whoever needs to receive it. Hopefully they're standing there in a way that they are able to receive it. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us. Blessings to you all. Have a great weekend, and we will see you when we see you again. Mwah! Bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.